I can still see my cabinets behind me.
We are live. We are live. What's good? It's been a minute.
Are we live?
We are live, sir. We back in effect. It's been a minute. We was on summer break. Seems like summer break took forever. Welcome back. What's the word? Wednesday. Listen, we do our very best to try to motivate you, encourage you, inspire you, lift you up, give you those practical everyday nuggets that you can use for your business. What's up, people? We back. It seems like it's been forever in a day. Welcome. I am Eric E. Clifton, and I'm gonna let the crew go ahead and introduce themselves. Starting with my man with the plan, co-host with the most, Mr. Lillard. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
This is Raj Lillard, Rogers Nuggets, coming at you straight out of downtown Bowie, Maryland, as I always say.
Straight out of where?
Downtown Bowie, Maryland.
Downtown Bowie, Maryland. I thought you were about to say straight out of Compton or something. Downtown Bowie, Maryland is where you are chiming in from. And then we got down there to the bottom, the other world famous co-host, the traveling guru himself. They call him the Travel Oracle. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Depending on if it was coming from Carla, she calls me the doctor. But guys, I'm Daryl Two Jackets Jenkins, and I'm in the building.
Two Jackets Jenkins is in the, and listen, we have on here a special co-host guest with us on this evening. She is killing the game, crushing things in this opportunity. Hands down, walked across the stage doing conventions, showing off every week. Seems like we see her name popping up, pop. Go ahead and introduce yourself, young lady.
Great evening, everyone. Thank you all for having me as a guest on today. And yes, you are the doctor because you fix everything.
Don't even fix everything.
There's no problem out there that we call him for and he can't fix. My name is Carla Lewis. I am one of your directors in the Platinum Network, 2-star director. I'm also an ambassador with IntelliTravel. I'm down in Louisiana, but by way of the Caribbean. So I'm your island queen on today, sharing with these gentlemen. So I'm excited. Thank you for the invitation.
Like she's the island queen. Did y'all hear that? She's the island queen.
Island queen, man.
She's the island queen. Now listen, go ahead if you're watching this right now live. We appreciate you for jumping on. I'm about to look in the chat thing, see if I can see who's checking us out live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And we're streaming live back in the Platinum Network. You know, Facebook tried to do some sneaky stuff so that we wouldn't be inside of the group. We're back in the Platinum Network. We're live right now, and we're live on YouTube. So shout out to the few people who are watching us right now. If you catch the replay, we appreciate you as well, right? So live and on replay. Listen, we got so much we can talk about in a short period of time, so we're not going to talk about everything we really want to talk about. We're going to talk about this convention. We're going to talk about some practical things that you guys need to be doing, moving after this convention, going in, completing out this fourth quarter of the year. We're going to talk about this dynamic young lady that we have on this call with us as well, give you guys some practical things that you can do right now for your business. Whether you are a travel agent only, whether you're a dual rep like Two Jackets and you want to be killing it on both sides of the opportunity, we're going to try to, in a short period of time, with some excitement, cover all of these things. Good gracious. Before we get going, Mr. Lillard or Two Jackets, whoever, if you guys would please drop some announcements, some things that people need to know and take note of around this planet.
Go ahead, Mr. Two Jackets.
Man, he put me on the spot.
That's right.
All right, guys, tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know we have our standard Platinum standing weekly private business reception. Get your business partners and your guests on and allow the informational session to close out your prospects. Let's see. Last night, we're going to go back in time, was the rebirth of the Baltimore weekly meeting. Shout out to those of you who were in attendance. Guys, if you are in the surrounding area, make sure you are definitely supporting that market as we bring it back to fruition. This Thursday, let's consider that to be the Platinum Thursday takeover right here in Oxon Hill, Maryland, 7:30 p.m. Get your prospects in the building and allow the evidence to do the work. Let's see what else. You know that we started as of 4 days ago. No sugar September. For me, it was no shoes. I can't buy no shoes in September, guys. But Mr. Scott has put out several variations for those of you who cannot do the complete 30 days. There's a 21-day option. There's a 9-day option, and I believe it's something similar. Whatever it is, there's 4 options for you. Pick which one and run with it for the month of September.
I got
to
start.
You can just do the 21 days. Just start with 21 days. We give you 9 free ones. So there you go. Convention. Guys, I know that there were only 7,500 tickets and they've already sold almost 5,500. Let me say that again.
Say that again.
Almost 5,500 are already sold, which means that you have a really small probability of getting a ticket if you have not done so by now. Let's make sure you are following that. Mr. Scott gave you guys a plan to put some savings to the side, but I think we need to accelerate that because I'm not sure how much longer those tickets are going to be around. Glad I got mine. Speaking of accelerator, the last accelerator for the year, guys, for those of you who are booking travel, and Teletravel has hosted 4 of these amazing events. This is the final one for the year. It is a mindset sales strategy training for those travel advisors who feel stuck. Prerequisite, you must have attended at least a Dreammaker certification. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you can't register, but the prerequisite should be that you have taken and completed Dreammaker. It is October the 12th. It is the same day as our 9-year anniversary celebration here in the Maryland area where Mr. Donald Bradley will be in the building. 2 events, two companies, 2 opportunities. Get in where you fit in. I hope to see you at one of those amazing events. Back over to you, E.
Absolutely, hoping to see. Listen, I'm stuck for about 2 seconds on the fact that you just dropped the information on 5,500 tickets already gone. Now I'm thinking about that. Let me tell you guys why that's crazy, because 5,500 is just about the normal amount of tickets that are available for the regular conventions, right? About 5,500. And typically, we only in what month we in? September? Typically, people are still good going into January buying their tickets before the 5,500 is sold out. And we in September.
It'll be sold out before Thanksgiving.
Not even a month after the last convention. And
I was going to say, look at it from that perspective. We are literally 2.5 weeks out of the previous convention. So look at how accelerated that was. Again, they did about maybe 250, 500 max of the early bird tickets, right? Those individuals, it might have been 2,000, right? Who knows? But guess what? There was an extended period of time where people could get in for a fraction of the cost. And now that price is going to accelerate. But we got to think, this company is not just here in the United States. We now got the United Kingdom, and they came over in masses this year. So guess what they said? Next year, we coming to dominate. So when those tickets went on sale,
they purchased, yes, they doubled the amount of tickets they purchased this year.
Absolutely. And then think about Ireland, right? A whole new market, brand new market, not even 2 years old. Their first director was here. So guess what they said? You guys need to be here to see it. Jamaica, y'all know they always show up and represent, right? We need to do the same.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are encouraging you, imploring upon you that you grab your tickets ASAP. We want to see you in the building, right? We want what's the number? What's the number for platinum? We trying to have how many people there, Daryl?
300.
300.
We trying to be 300. Can you imagine what the photo gonna look like when we 300 deep in Florida? That amazing resort. Listen, you guys want to be in the building. That's enough about that talk right there. Mr. Lillard, you was about to say something. You look like you had one more announcement to make.
Oh no, Daryl covered it. I was going to mention the convention. He jumped right on it, so he covered everything. We good.
I love it. So now, speaking about the convention, let's talk real quickly. I know she's been on many different podcasts and shows and TV shows explaining what happened. But we're going to ask you some different questions, or we're going to try to get you to give We want the non-political correct answers. We want the island type answers. We want the responses like how you would be talking to your family members about this opportunity and that convention. You follow? So no holds back. If a cuss word comes out that we don't understand from one of them island ways, however you say it, no one's judging you right now, right? So you give it to us like shooting straight from the hip. This convention, or the convention in general, Miss Carla Lewis, from your words to the people who are watching live and the people who will be watching this replay, explain to them why the convention is important that you participate. Why is it important?
Oh, wow. Well, this was my 5th convention, actually. This was my 5th convention. Obviously, it's because we didn't do 2020. My first one was in 2019 when I first came into the business. I think I walked into that one as a DIT, if not shortly after I became a DIT when I left that convention. And this last one, Mr. Raj and I were talking this morning, it was like no other. It's like on a whole nother level. It's just over the years, it just keeps getting better and better and better. So I see why it's almost sold out, because next year I can only imagine what that's going to look like. And I'm obviously not going to miss it. Mr. Bradley has it there for a reason, because he loves the columns. So when you hear the directors and them talking about y'all want stars on the floor, we're trying to get a column. We ain't looking at stars anymore. We're looking at columns, right? And it's just like a whole new mindset that I walked away with, realizing that as an entrepreneur, that's all I do. All I know is work, and I'm not afraid to work. Right? It's the culture that I grew up in, and I've seen all of my family members work hard their entire lives. The only thing is, now that I know better, I'm doing things differently. One of my uncle was a tailor, the other one was a shoemaker, so I grew up around the arts and craft. My other uncle, he's still working in a school teaching other kids arts and craft, right? I don't want to be 50, 60 still sewing for a living, but I have this opportunity in my hand that allows me to make a living while living. So now I get to do this and that and the other, right? And enjoy the rest of my life the way that I'm designing it. And so convention, my greatest takeaway was the whole 1995 insurance plan, right? That life insurance policy for 1995, that hit home for me, because most of you who know my story knew I almost died right before coming to become a part of Planet Marketing. Because I was with the previous company, stayed over there for a little while, and then came over to Planet. And that's when I found out about the Planet Pledge. So I think that was the biggest hit for me, that I have this pledge. And it's great that I hit directorship. And it's great that I hit 2-star, but what will my pledge be worth? No one has to wake me up to work. Like literally, I wake myself up to work, because I need to make sure that pledge is outrageous, right? Because my kids will probably sell my sewing machines, within no time, because no one's going to use it. So if you're out there and you own a traditional business, or you're gifted, hairstylist, makeup artist, whatever your gift is, that's great, but you can't air it on. And so if you have this opportunity, start looking at really taking it seriously, because this is something you can pass on. Everything else will probably be sold. Just reality, it will be sold. I don't care if you own a salon, they're going to sell it, or it's going to run down at some point, unless they're carrying on your trade. Convention was just, there's so much to talk about. I'm not sure if I'm getting ahead of myself, but you have to be there. It's a different energy.
So now with that insurance policy, go ahead and give the people who might be watching that don't even know about the Planet Pledge, or why we even compare it to an insurance policy. Now that sounds kind of good, but I think I remember either someone on stage or you specifically speaking about the fact that, hey, when if I pass, whenever that happens, obviously my insurance will cut this check, right? And then that's the end of it. But I believe your situation, you talked about something that your situation as it pertains to insurance was different. So that hit home for you. So explain why your situation is different. And now this 1995 insurance policy is what's going to change things in your life. So explain it to people.
Yes. We've been in marketing for a long time now. Actually over 15 years. I just never built a team. This is the first time I ever built a team of any sort. And obviously we were one of the insurance company that most people know about. But because we were healthy, we owned the CrossFit gym. We were both healthy. We left that company and started travel. And we dropped our policy. I mean, we're the epitome of health, right? Well, 5 months down the line, I'm on my deathbed. Now I'm no longer insurable. I was declined by 5 life insurance companies. So
Wow.
coming in, yeah, I went through Xander's Insurance, Mr. Dave Ramsey, and every one of them came back and say no. They said no to me, and I am sitting there like, okay, I have nothing to leave had I died that day. So fast forward to got with Planet Marketing. That was the first time I went to a meeting and I heard about the Planet Pledge. Never seen I came over just like a lot of people did. Jennifer said, hey, we are moving companies. You coming or you staying? I'm like, I'm coming because I don't know anybody over here, right? And so I moved over, and that's how I became a part of the Platinum Network. Came into the company. Finally, someone approached me about the business because I was booking travel for about 18 months. I was not on the marketing side of the business because I wanted to book travel. So it took me 18 months to really get back on in the marketing. Went to the event, heard about it. I'm like, man, this is my key. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, I need this. So once again, no one had to tell me go get it because I know what I needed, right? Had I passed away, that would have been it. But truly, a life insurance will pay out. It'll pay out. This right here will outlast me and continue to grow because once my team keeps running, that policy is going to grow out of control. And that's what I'm aiming for because at this moment, really and truly, it's paying my entire monthly overhead. And I'm excited about that. So as far as the kids and stuff, they straight. But I need more. I need them to have a cushion, right? I need them to really be able to go to sleep at night. And like they say, you never really want to think about it, but I want them to mourn me and not have to worry about how we gonna pay for this or that. Like that's the last thing I want on their minds. So at the end of the day, I know we say a policy, but it's truly a legacy, and that's something that most of us never ever think that we will have access to is leaving a legacy. And I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to do so. That's why we're gonna protect the planet because I don't need nobody messing with my legacy. Right? I'm working hard for this.
Absolutely. So guys, go ahead and jump in. I wanted to make sure she expounded on that because some people just it flies right over their head. You get insurance for the just in case for everything else. Listen, we love booking travel. I mean, that cashes checks, right? I mean, we can cash those checks, but that 1995 because you showed somebody else the same thing. Speaking of showing somebody else the same thing, before we segue to something else, you wasn't on stage by yourself this year. You showed somebody how to do what you do. You literally helped a person who probably was busy, got their own life going on, stuff happening. I think she quit on you a couple of times. You didn't let that bother you. You didn't quit your business because she quit, right? And you still showed her the favor, right? And go ahead and explain how that felt. And since she's not on the show right now tonight, you can speak on her behalf. Speak about how she may have felt having gone through that and being able to stand on stage. She's booking travel, but she's getting residual checks as well. Talk about that real quick.
Yes, yes, she's at the meeting in Dallas right now, which is growth as well, right? So when you think about the business itself, that's personal development, and it didn't happen overnight. However, the fact that she's not on the show right now and that she is at a meeting says a whole lot because that's when you go into another level. You show up to events you're qualified to attend because the event's been there for years. It's been there for the past few months, but the fact that she's intentionally attending shows that wow, I say we have to develop even more to hit our next level because this one has brought us to this far. But to get to the next one, you got to take it up a notch. So yeah, Belinda, I met her by someone referred her to me actually for my fitness trip. She was a personal trainer. I was taking a group of personal trainers on my trip with me. And that's how we met. And I saw the potential in her. And But believe it or not, one day her site went down and I reached out to her and she came back at me and she was like, I've been an entrepreneur for such and such amount of years. I don't need somebody telling me how to do my business and da 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 da. And when I was like heartbroken, right? Because Ms. Michelle swears I'm not a yellow, but I am. I just have a different work ethic. And I don't take excuses. I don't make excuses. I just get it done. And a lot of people, the first thing they want to figure out, they spend so much time trying to figure out how to make an excuse for something they don't want to do. Like, so I'm like, tell me why you can do something. But she told me that, and I was like, man, like, I really want to help her. And this is what I get. And I'm like, okay, cool. I backed off a little bit. Then I came back at her again. She went bronze that second time. And I'm like, okay, good, I got her. Then she canceled again. And so I just helped her with whatever she wants help with. And I think that's one of the things that we have to realize. Sometimes you have to leave people where they are and continue to do the work while they watch you. Because at some point, they're going to realize that, wow, you know what? This person really does have my best interest in mind. And she wasn't just telling me about my account because it was down. Like, she really wants me to win and help me, but there's nothing I could do if your account is down because that's against compliance. You can't even work your business if your account is down. So I was just doing my due diligence, to make sure that whether you overlooked it, didn't know, whatever, y'all, is very important to keep your accounts open because even with getting paid, you might think, I'm not getting paid right now, but you don't know when that supply is going to pay out. And if your site is down, it's like you don't even exist. It goes straight into another file. And if I'm wrong, doctor, correct me, but it's like you're not even there. And now you have to wait to put in an inquiry to get that money. So when we're telling you about your accounts, it's not just for you to get back up. It's so that you cannot miss your money, right? So it's more than that. And when she told me that, I was like, man, just keep going. And now today, we were talking about it. It's not just about crossing the stage, man. Like, we got to stand on stage. That's like a whole nother level, to stand on stage and to see her up there when they say you're not a director until you birth a director. Man, that was like, they say it hit differently. It hit so much different than when I hit, to see her up there. And now I'm like, I got some more work to do because I got some other people that I need to help to get to those levels and become part of that excuse me crew. Excuse me.
I like that. The excuse me crew. Oh my goodness, we was so listen again for those of y'all who don't know what, and I'm just assuming the excuse me crew. If the excuse me while you get up and scoot yourself out of the aisle so you can cross the daggone stage. My goodness, I was just telling one of my directors the other day. Listen, next convention, time out for all this clapping, right? We want to be. I didn't even think of that name for it, the excuse me crew, because I saw a bunch of people in the excuse me crew just continuing to get up. Right? Whether you getting up for yourself or you're getting up for the person that you're helping. Excuse me while I go take the picture of my new one star. That's what you want to be doing at this next convention. Good gracious, that's amazing. Y'all can jump in. Go ahead and ask a question. I know you got something, Roger, or True Jack.
Why, thank you. So you actually it was one of the questions I had for her. She answered already, but I do want to say to Carla, it's an honor. It's truly a blessing to have her part of the network, and I get to see it with my own eyes. And we had a conversation today. Was it this morning, this afternoon? It was early today, and you mentioned work ethic, and I've been in this game a long time, and sometimes you got to humble yourself sometimes and say, you know what? I'm watching this and I'm like, so I said, Carla, how long you been doing? We in the lab. I mean, I've been seeing that for a long time. I said, it's been 3 or 4 years. She said, since day one. So Carla, share with everyone the consistency you have to have in your work ethic, even when you feel it's not working. Because I know there were times you felt like not having the lab, but you did it anyway.
Roger, I think that's a really unfair question for somebody like Carla. Her work ethic is like, you can't, like, she's an island girl. Their work ethic is a little different. So you can't ask her the equivalent of work ethic from an island standpoint United States citizen.
Well,
We think a little differently. We move a little
we do,
different, and she
but
knows
this is
this.
why. But see, guess what? But I want for the people watching to hear because they need to hear because I got to see it with my own eyes, and you know, and I'm thankful for it because, like she said, this convention right here is one that's always. It may not be that first convention or that second one, but it might be that fifth or sixth one that hits you. And y'all, this is why it's important to get to the convention because there's going to be a convention that's going to touch home and really get you. And so, Carl, you said since day one you was in the lab, and so were there times you didn't feel like doing the lab, but you still did it? I know you got that work ethic, but share with everyone what that was like for you from day one up until now, and some things that maybe you had to go through to continue to stay consistent with the lab.
Yeah. So when we first started, we started at the library. And that was back in like 2018, 2019, somewhere back there. We were at the library, and then they changed the rules to where we couldn't do the library anymore. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I really don't want to rent a place or anything like that because it was starting to charge, if you're not a whatever association and stuff. So I just decided to bring it to my home. And when I looked at bringing it into my home, the only place that I could do it is in my sewing room. And so I had the space for it, and I just kind of opened my door for anyone that wanted help because I understand that. And what I'm about to say is not to slight anyone in any way. So I'm very thankful for my sponsor. She brought me to this opportunity. When I came in, I understand that she has life happening. She's busy, right? But I needed this to work for me. Like literally, I started that January, and 5 months down the line, I'm on my deathbed and I can't work my planning and didn't do anything with the travel business really, right? Until I was on my deathbed and I had no other way to bring in income except to book travel. All I need is a device. So when anyone tells me about the travel business, I just look at them and say, you know what? No worries, because I know what it does. I know what it can do if you do it, right? And so I just kind of jumped in and started helping myself. But it is so much sometimes that it could be overwhelming to where you want to quit. That's why you got to leverage the people you have access to. Back then, I didn't really know who I had access to be able to help me. So I just did things on my own, figured it out. And I always promised myself, if I helped anyone, I'm going to make sure they never went through what I went through because they will quit. And that's kind of how the lab came about, just making myself available to my business partners who live here and need help. I just kind of open my doors. I don't care if it's just one person, if it's seven people, whoever came, they got help. And it wasn't any specific training. It was just whatever they needed help with, be it making a logo or putting together, anything. And that's what led me to become an ambassador because I didn't want my hands being held into what I could do to really help my team to get to the next level. So when it came to the travel, like I said, I came here for travel. I just happened into leadership. And I wanted to make sure that at the end of the day, I created some booking machines, which you'll see. Miss Michelle already had the work ethic. I just kind of was blessed to be positioned with her in bringing her into the business. And my goal is to just duplicate that amongst everyone that needs it. So the lab is here. It's sometimes I don't feel like doing it, but it's not about me. Sometimes I may not have it, and I just let them know. But I kind of moved one online as well on Sundays. So on Sundays, I do lab Zooms, and that's for everyone that cannot make it to the lab. We do things online to where, if they need assistance with anything, I'm literally there. But this year was my sacrifice year for sewing. And so they have access to me on Zoom. It doesn't matter what time of the day. Sometimes we just gonna set it up. Let's jump on. Let me walk you through this. And so my whole thing is about retention, retention, retention. And so the lab went Zoom and we do both.
Carla, that's super amazing. Again, being a hybrid and understanding that there's a sweet spot, right? You definitely have to have that balance in your business to be able to be a network marketing professional, but then also being able to really understand like way levels deep into the travel space. Again, that was one of the reasons. In fact, when I became an ambassador, it was because they had started to put like locks and chains on people who could have private groups and what people were sharing. But it was also a way for them to kind of start the compliance piece that we didn't even know what existed then. Talk to the people, because I think a lot of people who are watching get stuck in this mindset that because they pay for this business, that they don't have to work it consistently, that they don't have to be accountable or responsible business owners. I think some people fail to realize that this is an entrepreneurial opportunity, and it's not a club or a hobby where you can pick and choose when I'm gonna take my hobby off the shelf. You know, sewing for you started as a hobby, but it became a passion and then was a business for you. So you have that experience, and I need for the people who are watching to have that, to understand that parallel and how that runs with this business.
Okay, a little correction there. Back in the islands, when I was working with my uncle, I was around 13 years old or so. I've been sewing for about 33 years now. We were actually working. We have the contracts to make uniforms for the schools down there. We
Oh
have
no, you might. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying at 13. I'm just saying at some point someone was.
It came straight in, and I went straight in. That's what I've been doing it for that long.
That's even worse, because some people again pick and choose what they want to play around with. Again, you sew it, but at some point there was something. I'm saying, like, as a you didn't just at age 3 decide I'm gonna start sewing. There had to have been some vested interest, and then put you in that seat and said, "Let's go do it."
Yeah, no, I saw somebody wearing the same thing that I had on. They didn't look the same way, so I was like, never again. But no, I understand what you're saying. When it comes to anything at all, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. It sewing for me, whether it's travel, it doesn't matter what it is that you do. If you don't take it seriously, then what's the sense in even doing it? I mean, $40, $60, that's easily missed. But do you understand that this is not people look at it as a bill, right? I'm gonna just pay this, I'm gonna just pay it, I'm gonna just pay it. Bills cost you. Your cell phone bill, you don't get anything from it. It doesn't matter what kind of bill you pay, you never get anything in return. This actually is something that can bring you money. So when you're thinking, I'm gonna just let it go inactive for 2-3 days, a week, 2 weeks, then I just pay it. Well, if you pay your cell phone bill late, it's still gonna come back on the same day, right? But you don't get to use it if it goes inactive when it's closed. Well, it's the same way with your business. You have to respect it in order for it to pay you like a business. Because if you're only open half of the month, how you expect to really operate? That's like you going to your favorite coffee shop, right? And it's closed. And you go back the next day and it's closed. And you go back the week after and it's still closed. And then all of a sudden it open. The inconsistency, they done lost your business because you're going to find another coffee shop, right? So when you think about the fact that you may be paying, that's your job to pay to keep your business open. Once again, this is a volunteer army. No one is going to really be on you like, hey, you got to do this, you have to do that, you have to do the other. Even though we do, because it's business and we want to make sure we protect, the planet and IntelliTravel, that's what pays our bills. But if you come in treating it like with no respect, understand that there are over 119,000 travel advisors. So if you're playing with something, that could be the detriment of someone else's livelihood that they are taking seriously, like myself. I take this business seriously. So while you're playing tiddlywinks with it, you're actually playing tiddlywinks with other people's livelihood. So when you start looking at it from this is a true business, you're going to start treating it a little differently. You're either going to just quit because you're not going to do it, or you're going to be like, you know what? $60 is making people rich. And we ain't talking about no play money because we were at convention and we understand what happened, right? People going 3-star, 2-star in 7 months, 1-star in 7 months. This 19-year-old went 1-star in 7 months. Like, what? You think she's playing with her business? No. But you're thinking, I'm just paid. I don't have the money. Well, you got a business that can make you money. So all the excuses in the world, and I think some people, think I come down hard on them at times. But all the excuses in the world that you give me, I told a gentleman the other day when I was asking him, how you doing? I'm not doing good. I said, tell me one good thing that happened to you today. He said, I paid my rent. I was like, what a blessing. What are you talking about? You're not doing good. Now, what's wrong? He never answer after that. Because I'm always come at you with the positive. Like, negativity drains people. And even though you want to throw up everything that's going on, I'm here to help you to see what can go right. You have a business that can make you money. So when you tell me I don't have money to pay my business, I'm like, Platinum Marketing gives you weekly income. What? Let's go make you some money. One sale will pay your business. One sale will pay your business. So my mentality is different. I know I have other things that I'm doing. The kids are, they're busy with this and that. So when people start telling me about their day, I'm like, you don't want to walk in my shoe. You have no idea what I go through daily, but I make it happen because that's just me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And I'm gonna take as many people who want to come along on this journey that want to come because I'm designing the life I want, and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far.
I hope people are listening to you out there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was absolutely amazing because I think she kind of put like 17 things into one response, but I think she kind of covered like everything that like the excuses that people give, or all of their shortcomings, or the life is life, and like life doesn't happen to nobody else. And I think when you sit back and you listen to people, adults, grown people who have a choice, but they also have a responsibility because most have families. So if we sit around and just allow people to so when you said, I thought it was funny that people thought that you come down hard on them. What about when I come down hard on them?
I'm glad she said it because since she said it that way, I can speak for Mr. Lillard and you too. See, we ain't the only ones.
We ain't the only ones. Nah,
and so she getting it too.
But that's because we understand the power of the opportunity that we are a part of. We've seen all of and again, I was sharing this too, like with some of my team that was at convention. We've watched people in 2 years like run people down and go to making $500,000. And we just was like, they was just the goal builder the last time. I was like, you literally watched this success happen right before your eyes. And you're thinking like, well, dang, what are they over there doing? And they're doing nothing no different than what's already been told. The problem really I find is that people aren't connected. They pick and choose when they want to do this business. They pick and choose when they want to show up. Oh, but if they have an issue, you better be available for them, because if you don't answer the phone, they don't get no help, right? That's the thing. Don't nobody help me. I can't get no help. Oh, I'm gonna leave this company because all they care about is their sales. But when we're caring about you and what you should be doing, because you're not coachable enough to accept the guidance, it's not gonna come the way you want it. We got to put you in the lane to drive success. And I tell people with coaches, think about case in point, Tim Grover, right? Do you think anything that he said to the late Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James was ever painted in a very pretty picture? No, he's a trainer. He's coaching them to be mentally tough. There is no such thing. So if you want to be successful like these greats, you got to be able to withstand some of that. And some of us want to be successful. We want to be known as a boss. We don't want to do what's necessary to get there. We want to flaunt it all on social media. Oh, I got 17 businesses. Well, why not just have one that's really successful? Why you need 17?
Bradley said that.
Hey, Two Jackets, both of you all talked about something as it pertains to choices. And I've been talking to a couple of team members lately, or a few team members lately, about these choices. And it's interesting. The choices are what we would call negotiable and non-negotiable. Like for example, my kids going to school. There's no option. They don't have a choice for real. If there was an option to stay home or go to school, most kids would stay home. Matter of fact, most adults, if there was an option to go to work or stay home, you're staying home instead of going to work.
I work from home.
but working from home, right? If you had the option of just not working today or working today, most people would choose, well, I ain't gonna work. But because not working at whatever you do for a living isn't an option because of the consequences, it's not an option. Ain't no option of going to school or not going to school. Ain't no option of doing X, Y, and Z. But then when it comes to this business that we have that can free us and save us, all of a sudden it's all these options, like you were just talking about. I can work today. Well, I don't really feel like it. How now what Carla just talked about was, as she was on her deathbed, everything else was out the door, along with them options. There wasn't no options. There wasn't no negotiation. Maybe I'll do this business, maybe not. I'm doing it. There's a different mindset, and the big word we like to use or throw around is discipline. See that discipline
Number
says
one tangible.
there's no freaking options. And I've been telling, listen, I'm preaching to y'all something, but I'm talking to myself too, because I was one of the ones with the 50 different businesses, right? Now I wasn't on social media all the time talking about I got 50 different businesses, but I got 50 different businesses going on, yada, yada, yada. I kind of had options. And I sit back and looking at people crossing the stage, they didn't have 50 businesses. They was in situations like Carla, or maybe their one job, or whatever the case may be, and there wasn't no options. It was this. And
but
then
you know where
this.
that come from though, Eric? You having 50 jobs, mentally your mind says the more streams of income I open up or the more ways I have to potentially earn money, the better positioned I am. And then I realized, one day just sitting back and watching that residual check increase, and I'm thinking, if I was doing 3 or 4 other things and I was only doing it to make this amount of money, why am I not just doing this one thing and making that money, making my life? Because it frees you up from having to do all of those other things.
You ain't lying. So look, after Orlando Moore doing this, now I'd have been to 1 million conventions. A bunch of me and Mr. Little together, we've been to 1,000 different conventions over these 20-something years. But on this one, and I've seen this presentation before, just hit differently. Didn't matter. I've heard the story. But Orlando Moore stood up there and he talked about sacrifice. And we've trained on this show about sacrificing. And I call myself sacrificing. But I realized that a true sacrifice hurts, right? So it looks like I'm sacrificing because I'm not doing some of the things that I wouldn't do anyway, really. So I'm sacrificing watching sports and all that other kind. You know what? I didn't really want to watch it anyway, right? So I wasn't really sacrificing. And I realized that this one convention in maybe 10 minutes that was going to change the game, I'm going to have to really sacrifice some stuff that's going to hurt. So what am I holding on to that I'm going to have to let go of, like Carla did? She let go of that daggone the sewing stuff. Look, sewing and travel, booking, all that's going to have to wait for a second. Let me build this foundation. You're going to have to sacrifice something, put 2 hands on that shovel and start digging that foundation. So I realized with all them 1,900 different businesses I got going on, that although bringing decent cash flow, you still have to, with those businesses, go right back in and recreate that same cash flow. It's not residual. It looked good on paper, but it ain't residual. So now we done got rid of all them 19 other businesses. We done delegated some stuff. We done sold some stuff. We're still selling some stuff. Look, I'm out of that business for a minute. It ain't going nowhere. Timing and positioning with this opportunity can go somewhere. This business, before you know it, if you're watching me, this business will turn into the next Mary Kay. It'll turn into the next Amway. Those are great companies. You can join them today. You ain't getting rich on them. You can make some money joining Mary Kay and selling great products. You ain't finna ride a wave and get rich or get free if you join Mary Kay right now. They are a great company. This will be a legacy company, same fashion, and you'll miss it because you're doing so many different things, whatever it might be, or whatever your excuse is, that Carla said. Your excuse is holding you back.
Yeah, I was again. I had a conversation with Carla earlier. It was really a great conversation that we've ever had. It wasn't long. It was short, but it was really good because, like I said, watching her, girl, you helped me trust and believe. I've been in the game a long time, but like I said, we can always learn from each other. Everybody brings a different skill set, talent to the table, and her skill set is work ethic. And so recently, since I got back from convention, I got some friends that are in the business with me. I know them for 20 years. They don't book from me, but I still hang because they're my friends. When I separate from the business, I hang out with those guys. And so when I hang out, which is Eric, and it's not that often, when I do, I have a drink or two. And I told the guys that I'm going cold turkey on. I'm not doing none of that. I haven't got a phone call from them. Like nobody's calling me now. This is how I know I'm in the right place. And so, but back to Carl, I got a question for you. So, network marketing is an art. It's a craft to this thing, and most people don't spend enough time learning the industry, and you have. And so I've watched you again. Can y'all hear me? It froze for a second. Can y'all hear me? Good stuff. So you're doing presentations now. And I was like, she is like, it was amazing to see where you've gone from where you were to presenting. What was it that said that light bulb came on? You said, you know what? I want to be in front of the room. I want to present because it takes courage. You got to have courage in entrepreneurship to be successful. What was that got you over the hump? Maybe you were a little intimidated at first, but what did it for you to get you over the hump to start presenting?
Ooh, actually, my first time at the front of the room as a goal builder, I forgot my name. That's the only course I almost failed in college was speech. But I refused to fail, so I came up with a C. That's the only C I ever had in college. um, Man, when it came to being in front of the room, it scares me to I don't know what. However, what I understood is, they say the people making the money, they go from the back of the room to the front of the room because I will always sit in the back. I wouldn't approach anyone until they approach me first. That's just me. Miss Michelle was the first person I did not know that I ever spoke to. Some of y'all heard the story. When I was done talking to Miss Michelle, I went in the car and I was sweating bullets. Like, oh my gosh, I just spoke to a stranger. That's just me because I'm used to being in the room by myself. So, I'm in my zone, I'm in my space. She was the 13th person I partnered with back then. So now I'm a director and I have to go to the front of the room. I'm in Baton Rouge. There aren't that many, that's doing it like that. Now I have a jacket and I have a responsibility to the market. And I had no choice, like literally, but I'm not the type of person to sit down and rehearse. I don't like necessarily practice. So I wasn't talking to stuffed animals and things like that. I'm the person, throw me in the water.
I did that for years now back in the day.
Throw me in the water, I will not drown. Is me. That's me. It doesn't matter what it is. Mr. Powers said, do you want to do the presentation? Don't ask me, just tell me I'm doing something. Because if you ask me and I got to think about it, now I'm like, So I don't necessarily, I wing a lot of things. Y'all always see me whipping up some at the last minute. It's not a good thing, y'all. That's procrastination. Biggest nation in the world, get out of it. However, I'm thankful, I'm blessed to be able to whip things up. But my mindset is do it. I mean, just do it. So you mess up, so nobody knows you messed up. Just do it.
That's super amazing that you are like throw me in a fire and let me, climb up out of like a phoenix. Some people will not touch the presentation at all. One, because they get super intimidated. So what I used to do was, again, my background is that of a former trainer manager. So I used to tell people, do the presentation on Zoom. So if you are afraid of being in the front of people, they can see you, but it ain't like they can see you, right? Like you could not have to look at faces until you get comfortable with the presentation. Then you in front of people's rooms and you in your living room and you in front of the rooms at conventions, right? Again, it's the same way with like Dreammaker. As an ambassador, I got to stand in front and train 350 people. A weekly meeting is about 100, 200 people. I do this for 6 and 8 hours, 30-minute presentations at a time. That's for some people that could be fearful. I remember somebody saying they had to flip on the switch of their alter ego. You do sometimes because you got to go into like performance mode now, right? This is it, showtime, right? You got to do it. And so that's how I created, even inside of my organization, I created spaces for people. I'm like, listen, you want to grow your leg of business. You want to do what you need to do. Now, lucky for me, I was able to partner with 40 people plus without having to do the presentation. And then the Platinum Network started setting up stuff where it wasn't really a need because there'll be 100 presentations going on because we started using something that was centralized. So it's not that I couldn't do it. I just didn't have a need to do it because we already had something to feed the people to. But when I wanted that rapid duplication, I knew that I needed to have multiple legs of business growing. So guess what we were doing? Every leg of business had a person that was presenting. Whoever that goal builder or DIT was, let's run in this leg. We had 5 different presentations a week, except for the one day that Mr. Scott had the presentation. And in some cases, we didn't even do Thursdays because that was the weekly meeting. And most of the people were local. So we created a space where people could learn the presentation, those who were fearful of it. And then now they can do it in any space, right? They could do it on Zoom, they could do it in person. Roger's favorite, belly to belly. Guess what? If I want to do a one-on-one whole presentation and not have to dumb it, they could do it because they built that confidence. At some point, people are comfortable with just saying, "Oh, I'll just let you do it, Eric. I'll just let you do it." And there's some people that say, "I want to do it, but I'm scared." I'm like, just let me know when you're ready. We'll usher you into the project too. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I got called from Reese. She was like, Darren not gonna be on. Could you do the second part of the presentation? Yeah. Tag me in. Let's do it. Like, we don't have no like that's the thing. If you understand where you want to go in this business, you're gonna have to be able to know the presentation. And the more we had to go sit at the meetings, the more we heard other people present it, the more it made it easier. Because then you like, I see the same slides every day. So now you pretty much should know it by heart because you see it.
You say that, but a lot of people go to the meetings and they don't go for that reason to learn the different styles. Which
I know. I know.
You definitely, because that was me. I'm trying to pick up some things that can apply to me. You talked about the alter ego. If you ever hear me go live, the first time I ever went live, it took me about 15 minutes just to even hit the live button. But once I say to girl Sila, it's like, boom, I'm in like a whole nother person. Like literally, I'm a whole nother person. I snap out of the fear and into production mode, right? But you have to figure out what is stopping you and how can you get past it. Because if you hear Nadi, she got an alter ego. Even JP, who says she's really yellow, but she has to put on a show. Rachel Lodge says she got to D people. When she's done with convention, she goes away for 3 days just to D people because they're all it's a production. And it's not that it's fake. It's just that it's out of their norm. So when you think about those millionaires and $500,000 income earners making that kind of money, and they too have to change in order to get to where the money resides, you need to start figuring out, what do I need to change? And how can I put that fear aside? Because you can't be fearful and making money at the same time. It's just not going to work. So you got to figure out what that is for you. And when you go to the meetings, go to learn. I don't care if you've been there every week. If you go there every week, you should pick up a different section of it and just kind of hone in on what are they saying? How can it relate to my personality? Which person relates to my personality? What can I repeat? Because it's all about just figuring it out. Just figure it out.
So Carla, I'm going to pull a Preston Scott.
Oh goodness.
She's sweating already. I see it.
So again, congratulations for 2-star. It's just, man, I know that extra on the first. Like, I can't wait. I know you feeling it. So my question is, my Preston Scott, are we going to see a star on the floor convention next year for you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, I'm knocking that out this year. I'm knocking that out this year.
You hear that, Eric?
Yeah,
so we got it.
This is my sacrifice here. This is my sacrifice here. Like I said, if you're gonna sacrifice something, make it worth it.
Yeah.
Like, don't say I'm gonna sacrifice this and then you show up with no reward, no result. So when it comes to things like that, I know I may be delayed at times because I got other moving parts, but I'm gonna make it happen one way or the next. I'm gonna make it happen. So it's happening this year. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it's just about, once again, personal development and growing. I started, me and Belinda, I have both of us reading the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Ask her to read that. So, I said, I'm gonna pick it up. And so the law of the lid, like my lid, like I'm at my lid right now. I need to go beyond that. In order to go beyond it, I gotta grow. And so that's where I am right now. But once again, I'm not doing it alone, because for her to get to, everybody knows she's a beast, right? She'll talk to, look, here's one thing that I picked up as well. I'm not online. I'm not social media, right? Like Mr. Moore said, Belinda is social media. If you all see her, she's consistently posting. She's dropping content all the time. She's in your face. That's not me. But I have her. right? So I don't have to go master social media. I got somebody who's mastering social media. I'm gonna still be belly to belly, one-on-one, take you offline, have a conversation with
That's
you,
me.
right? But we both have growing to do. And in the growth process, just becoming leaders and better leaders, we also have to show vulnerability. And that's one of the things that me and Miss Michelle were talking about the other day, just understanding that sometimes, she's like my other eyes, right? And I gotta look through her lenses as well, because she's gonna tell me, boss, we call each other boss. You may come off this kind of way, this person, feel like you were kind of harsh or whatever. And so I just kind of talked to the team the other day, because my goal is to help you win. And if you're not winning, then I'm failing at my goal in a sense, right? Not that I'm taking the pressure on me, but if I tell you invest this money so you can make money, and I'm not helping you for whatever reason, whether you don't have time or this or the other, I'm gonna show up and do my part. Now, if you don't want it, you don't want it. But if I come at you and you give me a reason every time, and I say, well, like I reached out to somebody in Houston who I was trying to meet up with them this weekend when I go to Houston. And she's like, I'm tired of donating my money to IntelliTravel. But I would have liked to know that you were coming in advance. I got two places. You always have somewhere you're going, but you're saying that you don't have the time to work the business. Like, no problem. If you know anybody that wants to do this business or has a trip to book, I got a referral program. Just send them to me. Because I'm not going to chase someone who doesn't want it for themselves. I'm looking for people who want this. And that's another thing I took from convention. Stop wasting your time with people who don't want it. If you
Bradley.
want to book travel. But don't say I'm not going to build because you're afraid or it's not working for you, or I just want to book travel. If you're going to book travel, book travel. Be the best booker out there. I'm gonna make you a booking engine if that's what you want to do. But don't give me the excuse that you're gonna book travel and then not book travel. Right? My goal is to help you win, whichever one you want to do. However, at the end of the day, it's up to you. This is your business. This is your family. You're the one that said that you're gonna win for your family. So go do it.
They
And that's
think
what
I'm the tough cookie.
Eric, I had to ask that question.
They think I'm the tough cookie. Listen,
I was gonna say real quick there. I had to ask that question because you got 2 star here and two stars and 1 3-star. I'm the only 1 star in here. And we had a conversation. Preston was saying there were 1-star directors walking around like zombies. For a little bit, I was one of them. But because I've been to convention several times, I could filter my way through during on lunchtime. And so so that's my goal. And I've been saying it for 2 years. I'm getting my name on a star next year. And so, Carla, hey, Eric, let's do it. Daryl, congratulations, sir. I know it felt good to see that star on the floor, my brother. We all gonna have a star on the floor next year, right?
listen, that right there is what it's about. Again, when we started this journey 8 years ago, it was because we knew what Mr. Bradley's vision was, and Preston studied long enough before he made a decision, which made it even more valuable to us, right? To trust a man who started this business at the hospital bed of his son, not being selfish and thinking about his family, because he could have just said, we're gonna wait until this is done. He was like, we pressing this button now. Done. And so sometimes people don't, when you don't connect and align yourself with the real true values of the business, because we're too busy or everything else is so distracting for us, it makes it hard for the people who really know and understand and have a passion for people to do well. It comes across as, we're heartless or we're insensitive to people's feelings and we don't care about. That's so far from the truth. I think when they get the raw and real, like you see from Carla, you're hearing it, because most people would never think that was her personality. But the fact that she understands that this is business and it's not a popularity contest. And in business, we want to yield results. So we want people to do well, whatever that looks like. If you want to be the best damn travel booker, let's go do it. You want to only focus on building a team? Let us help you do that. But what we don't have the time for is you showing up when it's convenient for you. Oh, I didn't get my commission, but you don't respond to nothing else. That's unfair. That's an abusive relationship. And we have to be in a space where we're our adults and we understand that there has to be a two-way street, right? You want me to be respectful of what your needs are. You want me to hear you out and help. And Carla knows, right? whatever she started this off by saying that whatever it is that needs to be fixed, I likely can fix it. It's because that's what I do. That's where my passion lies. We have 119,000 people. So guess what? If all 119,000 was emailing and messaging me about an issue, we're going to figure out the commonality and we're going to figure out a resolution. That's my standpoint. But what I can't allow you to do is come in and not give your all. You're going to give 10%, but we're giving 120%. I'll even say 10% because some of them are posers. They'll act like they're doing something to check a box. And it's unfair to the people who are really trying to help them get to that next place, to help them not have to go through that financial bottleneck that they experience, to not feel like you have to do 17 things to make it in life. We can help you, but you got to want to help yourself. And I think that's what the struggle is. So when y'all hear or y'all think that we're being harsh and mean and we're too stern, that's not what it is. Our personalities want to see people win. And you can't be in a comfortable space and be successful. You got to get uncomfortable. You have to. When I remember going into the ambassador program, I had no idea what the hell this program was. I text Preston and was like, yeah, I don't quite know about this, but I'm already in now and I ain't going to quit because my mother ain't raised a quitter. It's the reason I stuck with doing it. It wasn't even a developed program at that time. I was like number 27 ambassador. We have over 200 ambassadors now. So at that time, it wasn't even a full program. They were still figuring it out. I was figuring out what it was, and I was already in. You just got to just do it.
Tim
Grover wasn't too afraid.
Tim Grover said something real powerful. He said, when you make a decision to be successful, somebody's going to be angry. And he said either they're going to be angry or you're going to be angry.
Yep.
So guess what? I'm tired of being angry. I've been angry long enough. So it's hey, I got to get that angriness off of me. Go ahead, Eric.
Listen, I'm loving everything I'm hearing. At the end of the day, what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, if the shoe fits, wear it. We right now we haven't been talking to everybody. There's a small group of people who probably gonna be watching this or the replay that
I got a list. Let me start naming. No, I'm just kidding.
we ain't got to name nobody, but there's some people that doesn't apply to, and it's simply because it's not this. Some of the stuff we're talking about is not your goal. Some of y'all watching, y'all money is good. You can care less if you booked a trip or if you recruited somebody on the team, or maybe you just hitting and missing. You're just a part of the program. We appreciate your partnership. Some people have actually partnered with us just to be a part of something, right? Or just, maybe for the tax break, or just to possibly take a trip and come on back. And so I know you might be watching because your sponsor said, hey, go ahead and take a look at this. And it seems like 4 of us is coming down. We're not talking about you. You joined just to look. We gonna cut a rug with you when we see you at the party, right? We gonna break bread with you at the restaurant. That's what you're here for. We appreciate you. But for the people that have told us, and you told yourself and your family that you got some financial goals or some travel goals, combination of both. You joined a team of individuals that had the same goal as you, like joining the basketball team and you saying you want playing time. Coach, put me on the team, coach. Put me in the game, coach. You partnered with us for that reason. That this group of people be talking to you. And I used to watch a whole bunch of these sports movies and all that types of stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen one sports movie or documentary where the person with the God-given talent that was being coached by whoever they was being coached by, the coaches weren't never always easy peasy. They always had to, almost like your mama. Some of your mamas and your daddies right now today still get on your nerves because they see from the outside looking in, different perspective. They want what's best for you always. And sometimes they're going to tell you what you don't want to hear. And usually, in some cases, it won't be, like in my case, 20 years later, kids come back, Dad, you know what? I think about what you told me. And same thing with this business. We got business partners that come back a year, 6 months, 2 months later. Hey, man, I thought about what you said. You was right, whoop-de-whoop. We know, and we're not supposed to have the easy peasy cookie cutter delivery all the time. It's supposed to, unfortunately, in some cases, it's supposed to get on your nerves, rub you the wrong way. They say the truth hurts, right? It's supposed to growing pain. There's a reason for growing pain. It's supposed to hurt. If you was working out and you wanted to get bigger or stronger, you got to stretch your muscles. That's supposed to hurt. Growing, daggone, it hurts in some degree. Now, you guys, grown people, want to get mad at us trying to help you navigate through this process. The ones who think long term, one of the top 10 distinctions between millionaires and middle class, the ones who think long term look past myself, Two Jackets, Sela, I like that, Sela, and Roger, right? They look past what they hear us saying and how it might come across. They eat the chicken, throw away the bone. We're thinking long term. They pouring into us. For real, for real. Sometimes people forget we got life going on too, right? So you call us with your issue. We probably just got finished putting out a fire in our own daggone house, right? But we don't get that great sometimes. So now we're on the phone trying to deal with your issue, putting out 3 fires over here. And guess what? We might tell you, look, man, stop being lazy, get them off your butt and make some phone calls. I had to tell some people this week, stop texting back. Call them. Pick up the phone. You called them when you wanted them to join. Pick up the phone and call them to have these conversations about, listen, I got goals for me in my household. And like Mr. Scott has said to us on many of occasions, listen, I want to do this with you guys, collectively, together. But he ain't finna let neither one of us stop his money and his growth for his family. So that means, same thing applies. I can still do it without you, but we can make a whole lot of money together. So now Mr. Scott it ain't been finna be this way for long. He the only one out of this whole daggone, how many people got 2,000 some odd people on his team? He the only one with a ring. Are you kidding me? Not for long. The people I'm looking at right now finna get some rings too. Ain't no fun if your crew ain't having fun with you. You out there on the island by yourself. We care about you. I'm saying this to say, ladies and gentlemen, again, we appreciate your partnership. We don't take it for granted. But we are going to sometimes come at you like mom and daddy. I heard LaVonda say, I just ain't to be friends. I ain't trying to be your friend. We might become friends by default. That's what's going to happen, right? Like me and my former boss at my job, we friends. Originally, I ain't like that dude too much. But I appreciated it. I knew why he had to be the way he was because he was the boss. And he knew what I didn't know. And however he delivered it was how he delivered it. He was ex-military bound. It didn't matter. We became friends in the interim because I had long-term thinking. I don't care what you say to me. I'm here to get this check, this insurance that y'all giving me, and this free cable. So he can talk all outside of his neck however he want. I learned a long time ago not to let my feelings interfere with my finances.
Eric, something that is also something that's also critical about that is, as I tell people sometimes, listen to the message and not the delivery. We so focused on how something is said that we miss what's being said to us. I always ask people, was what was said to you the truth? If they answer yes, I say, so then why are you offended? Why are you hurt? Because if it's the truth, it's the truth.
Because you have to own it.
No. You can't put sugar on top of vinegar. You can't.
That ain't what you was gonna say.
You can't sweeten it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to hear the raw truth because we're so used to people walking on eggshells or addressing us with white gloves that harsh truth sometimes stings so bad that we don't want nobody to say nothing else to us. We're in our feelings. Where's Aunt Helen? If she is watching this, Roger, I told you I talked to her and she had walked around at convention and Jakir man was like, this is my aunt. I said, Aunt Helen, I know who you are. You on my list. She was like, your list. It was a joke, but it was the whole interaction because we had been talking about, the business and building and convention, and she had just happened to just walk up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you on my list? I know who you are." And she was like, "Oh," and so as she was listening to it, you could see all of her defenses just start to melt away. So much so, she registered for my travel agent lock-in, but she had texted me she wasn't feeling well and was unable to make it. So, but I was looking forward to her being in that space because everybody who had came had an amazing time, and And I think that sometimes people needed that. They needed to hear, like, again, my team, when I used to manage people, used to call me the warden. Sometimes you need that kind of boot camp mentality to get you out of your own way. And now Jacurman was like, I'm so glad I came. I needed to be here. This is what I needed. That's sometimes people need that. It was the raw truth. Like they said, yeah, it was raw truth. Here's your business, and you got to be accountable.
If somebody told you,
I'm listening.
If somebody told you your breath stink, and it actually did, would you be offended? Like, hey man, your breath stink.
You can't be offended because it.
But let me ask you this, or let me ask a better question. In which I want both of y'all to answer this one. One, would you be offended if someone said, hey man, your breath stink? And then the second part of that question is, how would you tell someone, whether you rock with them or not, how would you tell them the truth that, hey, your breath stink? Go ahead, Roger. What you gonna say to them?
Well, if I have a mint, I might offer them a mint.
But how you gonna do it? What you gonna say?
I'm gonna say, hey, would you like a mint? That's real easy. Would you like a mint? They say, I'm good.
But now, just would you like a mint? I don't eat mints, and it's no sugar. There's no sugar.
The reason why I'm offering this mint because you kind of cranking over there.
I'm like Eric. What you just
cranking? You cranking over there. You cranking.
What about you, Carla? What you gonna say?
Well, I mean, breath-wise, something in your eyes, something in your teeth. I just say it and then I change the subject and say something else. Like you got something right there, and then what you gonna like? I just kind of play it off. But at that point,
so you're gonna say, "Hey man, your breath stink," but pass the sugar.
Well, at the end of the day, if I'm your friend, I would rather say it to you than you go talk to somebody else in their face. So you should appreciate me saying something.
Let's say you're not friends. Y'all just met, brand new business partner, and that you didn't even personally respond to them.
Oh, I'm not saying nothing.
Oh.
I'm not saying.
Go around there breathtaking. What about you, Roger? I mean, Two Jackets. Brand new business partner.
You gotta pick your battles.
I normally, especially if it's something that's offensive, I normally pull out a piece of gum myself first and chew it, and then I offer them one.
That's a good one.
So at that point, I'm not even going to address it. They're going to see me chewing it, and then I'm going to just offer it to them.
I have an answer for that. I got an answer for that.
It's amazing.
I have an answer for that, though. So, and this was experienced some years ago. So what our network would do is if there was a situation like this where somebody's breath was cranking, so what they would do is in the next training, they would talk about hygiene.
So you're gonna let the whole
that done went a whole 90 days.
That's the whole,
you got to deliver
breath sticking for the next 2 months, Raj.
But you got to deliver it. You got to deliver
Mr. Eric, what's your reason for asking that question in relation to the
let me get to
it. We did phone calls too, though. We had calls.
The reason for asking that question because it goes right back to the truth hurting, right? And people get offended when you now unveil the truth about them in this business, right? And so now I don't want to talk to, like Daryl said, well, you mad? Did he tell you the truth? So how you mad? Why you in your feelings when you got the truth? You wanted them to package like how Roger was trying to do. You want them to package no, your breath stink right now, right? You in the meeting and your breath stink. Now I'm bringing this up also. Truth hurts. I just met Preston. Preston don't even know me for real. He knows the person that sponsored me. And I'm under that person. And we had a meeting. Just met Preston. It's been a long day. I ain't had no candy. I got the hot breath thing going on. Not no, whatever the medical terms is for bad breath. Just got that hot breath. And we in the meeting, right?
The toasters was hollering.
And it probably was. I don't know. But what I've always appreciated, and I don't know if I even told him, he probably watched it. Preston told me my breath stank at the meeting. And we don't know each other. Mind you, keep in mind, I'm from uptown in the city. This was about 10 years ago, so I was about 10 years a little not as developed, right? But I'm still me. I appreciated the fact.
Preston, if you are watching this, I need you to
listen. That this
laughing
dude
emojis because that was
didn't know me. He said, "Hey man," he didn't put me on Front Street. It's like he told me the truth, smoothly, some kind of smooth way. Say, hey man, and I can't remember right now. He might have had some gum or something in his pocket. He might have been like, hey man, you need one of these. However, at the end of the day, in my mind, I'm thinking, I know, like how you wouldn't have did it. You gonna let it ride? Nah, because you care more about me, this environment. I'm getting ready to be talking to other people. We think he had to be thinking long term. He don't know me.
I got a question. Hold on, man. We gotta slow down a little bit. So wait a second.
It was funny as a mug to me when he said it, Raj.
Oh, did he say is it cranking? Did he say you got a little twitch to a little twinge? How he say it?
Man, I think he said something like, "Man, your breath a little hot." I think he said something like that. You know, he's a little bit taller than me, right? So he leaned over a little bit, like, hey man, you know, hey, breath a little bit hot. Oh snap! You know, you got to fix that. You got to make the
wire on him.
you can't be in your feelings. I'm saying I'm ingesting humor, obviously, but my point is, too many regular tell you the truth about yourself conversations we as leaders have to have with you guys. What you expect? If your breath ain't around me, I'm letting you know. I mean, I thought, interestingly enough, I was the only type of person that would let you know like that until I met this dude just like me. He let me know.
Hey, Eric, Jeff Olson, who wrote The Slight Edge, man. And this is huge. Jeff Olson said, the bigger the problem solved, the bigger the paycheck. So when Preston told you that your breath stink, you became a 2-star.
10 years later.
You stupid. I was in the whole company back then.
Oh gosh.
It wasn't in this one. The fact remains, as a leader, he wasn't afraid to say it. And I mean, I asked that question because what's the real nice way to say, "Mama, your breath stink"? I mean, it ain't that many nice ways to do it. When you
could always be like the kids. You know, they tell the truth. Did you brush your teeth today? Like they always.
Your teeth are yellow. They tell you the truth. The kids, they don't hold back.
Yeah, did you brush your teeth today?
But the key thing about that is genuine, right? So my point is, when we as leaders are talking to the team about, I don't care if it's travel or if it's team building or a combination of both, if we giving it to you straight from the hip, raw, it's only because we see the bigger picture, we care, and why would we want you to put yourself out there or be in that type of a position? And I was like, oh my goodness, this bomber hit me with the, woo, okay.
Yeah, I gotta say, I appreciate this story tonight, Eric. I really do. I appreciate this story.
Oh, you got a good laugh on my expense.
I'm doing my best to hold myself together.
It's all good. Look, I tell you what, I be since then I make sure I got some candy or some mints in my pocket or in the car before I go to a meeting. Ever since then, and if I don't, I'm hitting the table up before I speak to anybody at the registration booth. Is always some mints. So before I speak to you close up, I'm gonna grab a mint or two if I didn't have one in the car.
That was the lesson learned in that whole ordeal.
What was it?
This was epic.
And we wasn't offended, right? We appreciated the fact. Now keeping it 100. You know, the little bird in the back of your mind is like, hell, he talking to? Oh, he's talking to you. Really, don't take long to figure it out. So when Carla says, "Hey, your account down. You can't make no money with your account looking like that. What's going on?" Don't get offended. We ain't trying to count your money.
But here's the other piece of that, right? Being an entrepreneur, understanding that I'm responsible for my own business, is my site should never be down. Now there are situations where maybe your card is compromised, or now they got this new thing where people are locking their cards. So I speak responsibility amongst the people. If you lock in your card and you need to figure out what your payment due date is so that you can unlock it at 3 a.m. and lock it back at 5 p.m. the day that your card is going to be run. That's your responsibility. You made the decision executively to lock your card that's on file. You got to figure out what that looks like so then you don't have to get those calls. One of the things my team used to tell me back when I used to manage people was they knew in order to not hear my mouth, they should just do what needs to be done. And so at that point, if you don't want nobody calling you about your account being down, then you need to make sure that it's done so that you don't have to get the phone call. Easy, right? I'm just saying.
Sound easy to me. Listen, we done went a few minutes over time. We apologize. But listen, I think it was well worth it. You definitely want to make sure you are following up with your prospects, your guests, getting them ready for tonight's showcase at 8:30, PlatinumWednesday.com. We're going to be right back again on third Wednesdays, dropping some more nuggets. We're going to train on something. We're going to figure that out. We're looking forward to all of you having a blessed and prosperous week. If you're in the local area, we're looking to see you on Thursday. If you're not in the local area, find out where your local meeting is and just show up, right? Meet some people. Grab a mint before you go, right?
And thank you, Carla, for joining us on tonight. Appreciate you taking the time out to join us on this evening.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, look, I almost forgot. Before we close, we're going to end with Carla and her closing remarks to the people. Go ahead, Carla. Give your closing remarks, whatever you want to say to the people as we end.
Oh man, my closing remarks will be at the end of the day, we promise to help you. So let us do what we said that we're going to do, because if we didn't care, we wouldn't care. And at the end of the day, that's it. If I didn't care, I wouldn't even care if your account was down. But because I do, it's not hard calling someone or reaching out to someone about their business. It's not easy. I'm sorry to do those. I don't like doing them, but I do them because I do care and I want you to win. So at the end of the day, for those who want to get to their next level, we are here to help you. But you got to show up for your own success. And it makes our job easier when you are participating in your own rescue, because it's hard to pull dead weight.
Well, that's it. Y'all heard it from Sela herself. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We'll see you on third Wednesdays. We out.